Hello and welcome to Get Great at Maths. Today's video is a GCSE Mathematics OCR J560 exam paper from the June 2022 series on the higher tier paper 4. This is from the calculator paper and we're looking at question 2. Question 2 is a BIDMAS question where BIDMAS stands for B and BIDMAS stands for brackets. The I stands for indices, which are the powers, or like in this case, the squared. D stands for divide. M stands for multiply. A stands for add. And the S stands for subtract. And we need to use BIDMAS in order to be able to use our calculator to answer this question. Now, your calculator is really clever and they will be able to just cope with you typing in the question as you see it into the calculator and press equals, and you will get the answer. But this question is worth 2 marks. You can see here in the right hand side we've got 2 marks for this question. So it is important to show you working out in case you make a mistake as you go along. So I'm going to show you the full method in order to be able to get the full marks for this question. And you can type it in, as I said, if you struggle with finding it, doing it separately. Now we're going to look at the fraction button. Now on your calculator, every calculator is slightly different, but you're looking for a calculator button where it's got 2 squares above each other with a line in between, like you can see that's just appeared. This is your fraction button. Now if you press your fraction button first and then you press 270 over the 2.5 squared, to get the squared you need to find this button with the little square with a little 2 next to it, which gives you the indice or the power. So in BIDMAS, the indice must come first. So we need to work out that first section. Now I can show you that we've got 270 divided by 6.25. Now the 6.25 comes from this 2.5 squared. So using the squared button on your calculator, I've just shown you here on the right hand side, gives me that 6.25. Now the next bit, we've got divide, multiply, add and subtract. Now we have got add and subtract, which is right at the end, and we've got to do divide before we come to the add and subtract. But because this divide is like there are magic brackets around the numerator and around the denominator, okay, we actually have to do the add and the subtract first before we can do the divide. So if we add together 4.6 plus 17.2, that gives me the 21.8 in the numerator on the right hand side. And if I add or subtract 8.4, take away 6.8 in the denominator, gives me 1.6, which is the bottom in the right hand side on the denominator. Now I've just got to type this into my calculator and subtract the 2 numbers. If you do that, that will give you 43.2, take away 13.625. Now to get the answer, all you've got to do is type those 2 digits into your calculator and press equals. Note on the new calculator, the equals button is EXE, meaning execute. And then to convert that to a decimal, you'll need to press the format button and then press the arrows to get to convert it to a decimal, or the SD button, depending on which calculator you're using. If you type that in your calculator, you will end up with 29.575 for 2 marks. So here you can see in the mark scheme, this is worth 2 marks. There is a method mark for getting 43.2, which is this first number we got here on the first part, or 216 over 5. These 2 numbers here are exactly the same. One is just in fraction form, one is in decimal form. And similarly over here, I have got 13.625 or 109 over 8. These 2 numbers are exactly the same, which is the second digit I've got over here. Now it's got an OE next to it, which means or equivalent. So you could write an equivalent answer. Similarly, for the final answer, you could have written, instead of 29.575, you could have written the 2 answers which have been given over on the right hand side as a top heavy fraction or a mixed fraction to get the final 2 marks as well. Any of these answers are acceptable. This is another video by Get Great at Maths. Thanks for listening. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe to see more videos. Thanks.